Hello there, viewers. I'm the Knight of Arcane, and we're starting our 2024 videos with an interesting idea, with a bit of a story behind it. Back in October, Popcross Studios teased in his Horror Characters as Mech Armors video, his next video would be a combination of Spider-Man with Helluva Boss characters. My first thought was he was going to draw some Helluva Boss characters as Spider-Man. However, it didn't take me long after having that thought to think and conclude it was most likely going to be Helluva Boss characters as Spider-Man villains, which it was. And I only thought it would be them as Spider-Man was because I was working on my SCPs as Spider-Man at that time. But this, of course, gave me the idea to try it myself, with results I'm quite proud of. With that out of the way, let's check out our Helluva Boss Spider-Man, shall we? Good evening, members and viewers. In today's documentation, we'll be talking about a rogue element not a part of the Spider Society, and members that have some form of connection to him. Except the last pair we'll mention today, but I didn't choose who we'd discuss for this video. Taking it from the top one more time, coming from Earth 467, we have Spider-Blitz, and yes, the O is silent. Back on track, Blitzo Rogers was part of his father's circus from a young age in New Pride City, where he mainly acted as a clown in small acts with another child performer, Fizzarolli Brightman. His father, Cash Buckso Rogers, manipulated and abused Blitzo, which caused him to be used by his father to do acts of petty theft and damages to competition for their circus. While this story probably sounds very similar to a technical member of the Spider Society, Spider Monkey, Buckso just had his son do petty crimes, which did lead to him getting caught multiple times and then bailed out by his father, claiming he'll teach his son right before having him steal some more. This was pushed to the extreme when young Blitzo somehow became friends with a young Harry Osborn, son of the CEO of Oscorp, Norman Osborn, and had him steal small expensive-looking trinkets and gadgets. But Blitzo was looking for a way to get him, his family, and his friend/crush out of this life, and repay Harry so that they'd be even. So he always had a bit of stuff hidden for when the time was right. During the age of 18, Blitzo found himself on a tour with Harry into some restricted areas of Oscorp, leading to a small spider to escape and bite Blitzo, giving him spider senses and an interesting resistance to fire. Seeing what he could now do, and once he figured out his powers, Blitzo decided to become a hero. For money. He's got other stuff to do, so you better fork up the green. That is literally what it says here as his catchphrase. While not the most heroic or probably even ethical reasons he became the hero known as Spider Imp, he was saving people and stopping disasters. But this did cause a divide between him and Fizz, who was getting pretty close to Harry, if you know what I mean. Blitzo wanted to tell his friend about his dual life and his feelings for Fizz, but couldn't. During an Oscorp presentation by their scientist Dr. Otto Octavius on dimensional portals, that Harry invited his two friends and their family to see, Blitzo almost did, but chickened out. Unfortunately, due to a power spike and another factor, the portal overloaded and then started to destabilize, causing multiple explosions and fires. Blitzo got scarred and found Fizz under some rubble near the portal. He wanted to save his friend, but couldn't without revealing his secret identity, so he ran, hoping to be able to quickly change and save his friend. But as he was helping some people, an explosion erupted and the room was gone, with the portal and Fizz nowhere to be seen. Blitzo's mother, Tilla, died that day in the fire, while Harry was put into a coma, with very PS4, PS5 game vibes. And Octavius would become Doc Ock afterwards, similar to the second movie. But Blitzo was changed after this. He was still doing the hero gig for a bit, before he just stopped. Other heroes came along to help up where he left off, but he wasn't seen again, until last year in another dimension. We're still looking into how he acquired a dimensional watch, since from footage we have it clearly doesn't match the models we currently use, but we were able to gather intel it was Blitzo just in a new hero suit that included a jacket, though he now went by the hero name Spider-Blitz with a silent O. He seems to be forming his own spider society, though they act like heroes for hire, jumping from dimension to dimension, putting up flyers and ads to attract customers, and doing hero work for big fees, including bringing contraband from other dimensions for a lot of money. While sometimes this has helped save lives, this has caused Miguel enough headaches to put Spider-Blitz and his team on a list to be captured and brought back to deal the correct punishments on them. However, they keep evading capture, so it's imperative that we bring them in before they cause too much damage to the multiverse. Abandoned by his parents and raised in Cash Buxo's circus, Fizzarolli had an interesting fascination with clowns, becoming a small clown act with his friend Blitzo, and he loved it, learning multiple clown and circus-related skills over the years and becoming the star performer of the circus. Fizz found a boy he liked, got in an accident, and you might be wondering, on what Earth is this all taking part in? Well, you've probably already guessed, but this is the same Fizzarolli from Earth 467, the same as Spider-Blitz. Why am I talking about him? Well, let's do this one more time. During the Oscorp event, Fizz actually saw Blitzo leave through a door, which then accidentally shorted out and caused a small fire, leading to the first explosion right as the power on the device spiked. When he got trapped by the debris, he thought Blitzo was abandoning him, and he already knew about his secret identity. They were best friends. Fizz, of course, knew he was Spider-Imp based on how the hero acted, so he felt betrayed when he didn't save him. Right before the big final explosion, the portal opened, sucking in Rubble and Fizzarolli, and bringing him to Earth 5878. This Earth does have a Spider-Man, we probably should have talked about, but the order was already decided before this documentation was made. Anyways, in this universe, Oscorp was run by two friends, Osmodius Ozman, or Ozzy by close friends, and Mammon Fisk. Ozzy ran a lot of the business inner workings, while Mammon worked with investors and potential backers. But we'll talk more about this another time. Probably. Anyways, Ozzy and his dimensions, Octavius, had also made their own dimensional portal, and were still in the test phases, when somehow it connected to the portal in Earth 467, bringing Fizzarolli to their dimension, saving his life, though he still lost all 4 of his limbs. It was a breakthrough for their research, but Ozzy was more worried about the dying man in his lab, rushing the injured Fizz to the medical wing. When he came to, Ozzy asked what happened, and Fizz told him everything. The event, how Blitzo seemed to have something to do with the disaster, his friend's secret identity, and being abandoned by his friend and crush. Ozzy took it all in, was thinking of something in his own personal life that was a bit similar, that we'll save for round 2 or 3, and made Fizz an offer. No matter what, he'll give him robotic limbs, only asking to do some normal work to help out around the lab from time to time. But he mentioned how his version of New York City, name change pending for these stories, had a lot of villains with superpowers and high-tech gadgets. That was a serious threat to the people. Too much for one web-slinging hero to deal with, and Ozzy could help Fizz become a better hero than the spider imp of his old dimension. Surprised, Fizz took this offer, and with advanced robotic limbs that could stretch and twist like Mr. Fantastic, and donning a clown aesthetic costume, he became the amazing Spiderolli. Soon he and the other Spider-Man of Earth 5878 would join the Spider Society, and was pretty pissed when he heard about Spider-Blitz. The two would have a few confrontations, but after the two somehow were kidnapped by Earth 5878's tombstone and a few dimensional hopping criminals, they were able to reconnect, get the record straight, and escape, with Spiderolli letting Spider-Blitz go. Miguel was livid about this, but I believe this could make things easier, to someday integrate Spider-Blitz's team into the Spider Society, though a few of our members will have a problem with this, including the next member we'll mention after this small break. Just a quick reminder, we have a Patreon set up. It's one of the best ways to help support the channel. As a patron, you get access to monthly art polls, early access to content, and monthly art rewards starting with character headshots. So if you can, head over to our Patreon to become a patron today, starting at $3 a month. Every little bit helps. Anyways, now back to the Spider People. Hailing from Earth 78228, Verosika Mayday, better known as the Mayday Spider, like Danger Mayday, not the Mayday Festival, no spaces between May and Day, started life with dreams of becoming a pop star, seeing some old magazines and DVDs of some from the 80s and 90s, plus a few early 2000s, that got her interested. Of course, becoming a pop star is hard, and Verosika should have had a hard time becoming a star, but with her parents mostly broke, they didn't see why not. They got their neighbor, one retired Broadway star May Parker, to teach their daughter how to sing, and from an early age, they were able to get their daughter to perform at small venues and concerts. Over the years, Verosika got more and more attention, being able to perform at bigger concerts and even on Broadway. That at the age of 18, she was already living her dream. Of course, this led to her partying, getting drunk, doing drugs, and even having some fun time that I won't mention for risk of demonetization. Have to appease the holy algorithm. And this reflected in her music and performances becoming more mature and starting to go past PG-13. All of this led to many scandals covered by the Daily Bugle that Verosika didn't really care for. She was living big and thought there was no way she would crash. Foreshadowing. One night, Oscorp booked her to perform for a big event for the company's 50th anniversary. However, she partied a bit too hard the night before, being at a party that went well into the morning, and came to the corporation's building hungover. During a tour before the big event to show everyone the history of the corporation and their current projects, Verosika stumbled into a restricted area and got bitten by a radioactive spider. With the spider's venom and being hungover, her performance went south very fast, with her puking on this Earth's Oscorp CEO, Lawrence Osborn, father of Norman Osborn, and passing out on stage. This event made the front page of the Daily Bugle and pretty much ruined Verosika's reputation. But a new path opened for her with the radioactive spider. With the new abilities and powers she had, Verosika thought about becoming a super sexy villainess. But after looking at how much superhero merch there was, and how much bank those people were making, she decided the better, more profitable path would be becoming a superhero. So she became the Mayday Spider, the superhero pop star that turns her fights against crooks and villains into a performance. Sounds egotistical, but she has mentioned in the Spider Society's bar when she's really drunk, she also does it to help calm the people in the area down, that there's nothing to fear when she's there. Don't mention that she spilled this tea out, she'll never admit to it sober. Sometime after her hero debut, Spider-Blitz made it into her universe, and the two dated for a time. Even the Daily Bugle had articles on the two dating. The two had a falling out, and they broke up after Blitz messed with her cars, and charged her credit card to the max with stuff, all while drunk, before leaving her universe with just a note and a half-baked apology. Mayday Spider is currently not on any assignments to look for Spider-Blitz's group, due to the pent-up feelings she has, and really does not want him to join the Spider Society, and is advised not to mention him around her, especially when she's drunk. Let's hope she can cool down a bit in time, but I wouldn't bet on it. Our final members for today originate from Earth 55696, which is an entire universe of clowns and circus performers. That is also Helluva Corrupt. Wait, should have been Hella Corrupt. Whatever. Twin sisters, Glaminfa and Glitzandra Glam, were abandoned by their parents at a young age in New Clown with a K City, and were able to scrap by on their decent performance skills, good singing ability, and, mostly from Glitzandra, their sex appeal. It was comfortable for the twins, yet they wanted more, and were jealous of the talentless wahos that were racking it in. Soon, they got their chance to have it all. The notorious mobster, known in most universes as Kingpin, but in this universe as Clownpin, had a sort of clown pageant, set up every 4 years, and the twins decided to train and compete for the fabulous cash prize and the chance to become big. However, the Spider Society was noticing some interesting activity from Earth 55696, mainly coming from Alchemex Labs leading up to this pageant. Knowing the general connection between the labs and the mobster, we sent Spiderolli and another spider person to infiltrate the event and find out what Clownpin was up to. Fizzarolli as a contestant, and our other not named agent, though people probably know who it is most likely, snooped around behind the scenes. This contest was neck and neck between the Glam sisters and Fizzarolli, the latter having fun, though trying to figure out the clown mobster's angle, but the twins were fuming that, in their eyes, a no-name performer was upstaging them. However, the twins were then approached by one of Clownpin's goons, offering them each a spider that once it bit them would enhance their abilities and show that nobody and everyone else who the real stars are. Though Glamantha was hesitant at first, the two let the spiders bite them, preparing for whatever effects the formula would have. As everyone was lined up before the second to last event, the twins hunched over, feeling sick, as their senses enhanced and their skin and hair started to rapidly change color. But they held themselves better than the other contestants. Some melted into goo, some caught fire and turned to ash, one even turned into a giant spider clown nightmare monster. This was Clownpin's plan, to get some top-notch performers to test out a bunch of radioactive spiders he had Alchemex make, and use the successful ones for profit and on his own goons to be unstoppable. The only spiders that really worked were the twin spiders that had some bioluminescence and some fish DNA put in it for some reason that bit the twins. Everyone else was dead, or with that one guy, a giant nightmare spider monster. Panic spread in the clown crowd, and with the twins being the only successes, Clownpin decided he'd use the two to make a quick buck and sell each one separately to the highest bidder. Spider-Rolli fought off all the goons that tried to take the girls, though once they got themselves back up, they joined in, not wanting to be sold off to whatever sick plans Clownpin had, and were able to hold themselves pretty good, having to already protect themselves like that in the streets, and use their own axe and even their hair to fight back. The twins were then brought back to the Spider Society and had no plans on returning to Earth by 5696. Outside of doing performances for the other members, they still want attention and all, the two have taken to being Spider-Women really well, and have helped us across the Spider-Verse on numerous missions as Spider-Glitz and Spider-Glam. Thank you for your time. If there are other Spider-Men you want to hear about, be they a part of the society or not, submit your requests in the comment section down below. If you excuse me, Spider-Rolli and the twins are doing what they're calling a clown off, and I very much need to see this. Have a good day. And that was Helluva Boss as Spider-Man. I think all 5 came out really good and was a very fun video to do. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, along with other Helluva Boss characters I should turn into Spider-Man and women, other series I should turn into Spider-Men, and other things I should turn Helluva Boss characters into. For more Helluva Boss related content, we have the main 4 members of IMP as Mandalorians, and for more Spider-Men, we have a playlist, with the SCPs as Spider-Man being the first use of Dreamweaver as a narrator, and a few other videos that might also interest you. Also, I was at Fan-Expo Portland this weekend, and was able to not only get Brandon Rogers to sign my Spider-Blitz piece, but also got Dee Bradley Baker to sign my Spider-Monkey from the Ben 10 of Spider-Man video, along with a few other signatures I'll show off in a short. And if you liked what you saw, then leave a like, and subscribe to join our growing little Arcane town to be in the know for future videos and updates, along with helping us reach our sub goals at 800 and 1,000. Our next video should hopefully be out on Friday, and you can probably guess part of what it's about. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Later!